So hello there, and welcome to a brand new RPG Maker MV plugin, and this plugin is going to be an alt menu screen based off of the menu from Kingdom Hearts. And let's not waste any more time, get straight into what this plugin is all about. So as you can see, there's a lot more stuff added into this menu. To start off, the status window is now oriented vertically instead of horizontal. The gold window now includes a playtime indicator and a description for each command in the entire command window. At the very top, we also have the location of the current map and the overall general location of the player's party. Now let's get straight into how you can actually install and use this plugin to your advantage. Immediately upon opening up this plugin, you may notice there's a lot of options to start with. So to start off, we have the first option, which is going to be obviously whether or not you want to transition or not. So as you saw at the very beginning, all the windows transitioned into the middle to make it so the menu is actually there. If you want to use the default transition, you just set this to false, or perhaps you have your own transition from a different plugin for the menu. You can set that to false and make it so it uses the classic one. Furthermore, there's also an option to show the character sprites instead of the face images right here. This makes the menu more similar to the actual Kingdom Hearts menu, in which it actually has the characters walking in the menu. Of course, this doesn't look as well as the face images, but if you wish to use these characters, you can do so. Besides that, also comes the option to use the display name for the map. Now, if you may or may not know, maps have two names. The first name is the actual editor name, and the second name is the display name that appears in the actual game. Now, you can choose to use this name, which would be setting that parameter to false, or you can actually use the display name if you choose to use these. Since our map does not actually have a display name, we'll leave this at false so it uses the editor name in the game. Next comes a show TP parameter. It's pretty simple. Do you want to show TP bars in your actual status menu? If so, set this to true. Next comes max commands. Now this doesn't mean the maximum amount of commands possible, it just means maximum amount of visible commands on the command window. Since as you may have noticed, there's actually a window underneath the command window, and you don't want the command window stretching underneath it. But at the same time, if you're using a bigger resolution game, you may want to increase this to make it fit more of the resolution. So maybe 12 if you have something like 720 as your y-axis, or maybe something like 7 if you have a smaller window screen resolution. But anyway, it's up to you, you gotta test it out and try it yourself. Anyway, next up is going to be the text. Now these texts are going to be what appear in your menu. So for example, playtime, which it could be switched to just time in your menu, or perhaps you want to call currency text just to be called currency, like that. And perhaps you want the map to be called, I don't know, current location, just like that, making it fit more with the actual style of your game. And finally, we also have the general location. We just call this area if you want to. And that's how that stuff works. And as you can see, even now our menu is slightly different from what it was before. Now we're using character images instead of just the face images, and now all of our terms are different, such as currency, time, current location, area, and now we even have TP bars included within our status. Now the next options let you change the color of the texts within the actual menu. So for example, if you want to change the playtime color to be something besides this, you input the hex code you wish to use, maybe FF0000, that should be red, and you set the map color to be something like 00FF00, and that will make it so these colors will reflect in the actual text of the map or playtime text in your menu. After this comes just a couple options for your windows, including whether you want the status window to be positioned on the top or the bottom. As you saw in our recent demonstration, the characters made the window a lot smaller than usual, so if you want oriented to the top instead of the bottom, you just input top, and also you can change the command window's width to make it larger or smaller depending on how you like it. We can just set it to maybe like 260 this time. And now, once again, if we go into our menu, we'll find that it's slightly different from what it was before. Now, our current location and time have different colors, and our status window is set upward. But before we go any further, let's first address this guy right here, the area. Now, how do you actually set up an area for each map? Simply go to your map, hit edit, and then within the note tags, use the note tag general location, and then the actual location which you use for that map. The way this is supposed to work is that you're supposed to make it so you have multiple maps per each general area. So for example, you have like a big city, and that big city has multiple maps in it. Each of those multiple maps should have the same general location, but their names will be slightly different. This way, the player can keep track of the general location they are while having specific locations based on each map. The same can apply to dungeons and giant fields. Just making sure each map that's a part of that overall area has the same general location, and then the player will know exactly where they are in their world. And with that out of the way, let's continue with the parameters. After the colors and window options comes the transition speeds. This will be how fast the windows transition into this point if using the transition of this menu. So for example, by default, as you can see, they're all slightly different, so they fit into the same spot at different speeds from different positions. But we can set it so the gold window moves faster, we can set it so the command window moves slower, maybe 4, and it'll all work fine. And then finally, the most important part of this menu is the descriptions for each command. As you saw, each command has their own description added at the bottom of the menu when you're highlighting that specific command. And so to edit it, simply click on one of the descriptions and change that as you see in here. You can use BArt as a break line to make it so they all fit into that small space in the menu, and it can work out fine. Now a question you may be asking yourself is, this is cool, but what happens if I have custom commands in our menu? And the answer is, you just use custom command descriptions right here. The way it works is quite simple. Simply first put the command symbol right here, then put the description in the second one right there. An example of this I like to use is the Yonfly's main menu manager. As you know, this adds a debug command to your menu. And as you can see, this debug command symbol is simply debug. So let's copy that command and paste it into our Kingdom Hearts menu. So we'll go all the way to the bottom, set it so command symbol 1 is going to be debug, and set it so the description is, this is for testing purposes. Yeah, that's how you spell it. Anyway, we'll hit OK, and this description should appear in our debug command. And when we open our menu and go down to debug, we'll find that, yes it does, it's right there ready to go. And that's all for this plugin. A download link to the plugin is in the description of this video. It's free for commercial use as long as you follow the terms of use. A special thanks for William the Unpro Pro for letting me host this video on his channel. If you want to see what he posted on my channel, go to the link in the description to check it out and see what tutorial he made. And if you enjoyed, you should give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to William the Unpro Pro and me, SumRndmDde. But that's really all for this video, so until next time.